experiences. That's why you should come to the Mary Beth Conley Show at noon on KWAM The Voice, now on FM 107.9 and AM 990. We'll help you live life a little bit larger through the lives of other people. I hope you join us. I promise it'll brighten your day.
Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and that's a special day because we get to turn our spotlight on one of our great business partners, Triumph Bank, and Tracy Strickland, and we call this show Let's Talk Growth. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, George. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing really good, and you know, the weather's tolerable. Boy, we had some heat hit us in the last week, and not much rain.
It's almost mid-September.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
We'll fall. Please come on in. I mean, we're going to open our arms,
Woo.
you know, and welcome that. I've got a fifth grader who plays football, and they couldn't even practice yesterday because of the heat index. So
yes.
It's time for fall to come on in and let us enjoy some cooler weather. But I'm just super excited about my guest this morning. We always like to do a lot of spotlights on our community partners.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very familiar community partner, I think, throughout not only Memphis, but the entire country. And it's the Salvation Army. But we have a very special office right here in Memphis. So the Salvation Army of Memphis in the MidSouth has been, I'm not going to steal any thunder, but I just found out that their office has been up and running for 120 years of service in our great city. So I have invited my new friend, this amazing lady. Her name is Bonita Terry-Malone, and she's the manager of corporate and foundation relations this morning. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm so glad you're here this morning.
Thank you.
You've been at the Salvation Army for you just had your 2-year anniversary.
Yes, just celebrated 2 years a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Right.
That's so exciting.
Thanks.
Well, how did you get involved with the Salvation Army?
Well, you know, Tracy, a couple of years ago, well, actually maybe 4 years ago when I moved back home to Memphis, I was really just looking for an opportunity to join an organization or a company that was really community focused. Mm-hmm. And really, my interest has always been women and children. And I knew in my city that poverty was an issue. And so then when this opportunity came up for the Salvation Army, for me with the Salvation Army, it was just a no-brainer.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Well,
because they do focus so much on all of those things that are critical to this community, but personally important to me.
Well, and that's just always the perfect match where your passion can match up with a mission of an organization, and that lets you thrive as an individual and about your role. So you working with corporations and foundations and building those relationships, tell us more about your role and what you do day to day.
Sure. My role is varied, as it is in most places. Sure. But primarily I am a key strategic planner, fundraising strategist for the organization. And a big part of what I'm responsible for is cultivating those relationships in the community and really trying very hard to bring the story of the Salvation Army forward. So many people are familiar with the kettles. Right. So many people are familiar with Angel Tree. Exactly. But few people really know that we are over there every day making a tremendous difference in actually eradicating poverty, one family at a time.
One family.
And so my role is to make sure that there are those community investors out there. I want to make sure that they know the story and then choose to invest in us.
Well, it's just an amazing, I've grown up knowing about the Salvation Army, but I think, like you said, Bonita, so many people clearly, if you go grocery shopping around the holidays, you know of the Salvation Army.
Definitely.
Right, George? You hear the bells and you know, ringing, and you start getting your change ready because you just want to, you know that you're making a difference. But I think that, not only does that happen, but one thing as we've been getting more involved as a company and the organization is just learning the things that you were saying about poverty and the homeless population in the city of Memphis. And one stat that I learned about your organization blew my mind is that a quarter of all homeless women, especially the ones that have children, they live at the Purdue Center of Hope.
They do. They do. They
A
sure
quarter of all homeless women in the city. That's a phenomenal statistic, and almost a staggering statistic.
It is. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal that the Salvation Army is here. I can't even imagine what that would look like without us being here.
Right.
But it also speaks to the need in the community.
Exactly.
Because clearly there is a great need, because there's still 75% folk out there.
I know.
You know, and there are different programs around, but what's really extra unique about us, if I could just share this, we have several programs at the Purdue Center of Hope under one roof. Mm-hmm. There's the Renewal Place program.
Right.
It is the addiction program, and again, all of our programs are residential, and they are long term. Right. The Renewal Place program is a residential program for women dealing with addiction issues. It's unique because their children get to stay with them during the process. We have the New Directions family program, and again, for women dealing with homelessness and all kinds of issues related to poverty. Mm-hmm. Their children are there with them. But we also have the AutoZone Single Women's Residence. Mm-hmm. It is so cool because these women are unaccompanied by children. Right.
Yeah.
Single women are the most vulnerable population on the street, so they need somewhere to go. We have that program specifically designed for them. But Tracy, I know that's dear to your heart.
Yeah,
for sure, is the Youth Development Program.
Absolutely.
And our in-house child whisperer, Miss Roberta Perry, is over that program. And it is phenomenal what she does with those children. And again, the children are there, but they have their own case management, their own counselors. And so all of those residual effects of poverty and homelessness that they're dealing with, we address those issues. It's a special place.
It's a holistic look at the person.
Yes,
you know, it's not just, okay, let's try to, obviously, if you have poverty, we've got to get you on your feet and get you a job.
Right.
No. These
more to
people
it.
are so broken in so many different ways. So,
Right.
and like you said, it's a long-term relationship. So when we were talking, I was learning that many of the families might live there up to 2 years.
Exactly. Right. In the Renewal Place program, families can live up to 2 years, and in the New Directions program, they can live there for 1 year or more. Okay. In Single Women's, it's 9 months or more.
Okay.
There's that cap on it, but then there's not, because if they need to stay longer, they can stay longer. We are determined. Our purpose is to touch every woman and every child in the most positive way that we possibly can, so that when they leave, the only reason they come back is to volunteer.
That's right.
That's
when
it.
They leave, they're going to come back and volunteer.
That's right.
And that's the most positive statement that you can say. Well, let's talk about the leadership at Salvation Army in Memphis and MidSouth for a moment, because I've also learned that, you call your leaders, instead of CEO, it's a commander.
Right.
Right? So it's more of a military style of
military
leadership.
model.
Exactly. So tell us about your new commander and his wife.
We are so excited. I mean, super excited. We had great leaders before, and it's my understanding that the Memphis Purdue Center of Hope has a history of really great leadership, but we are very excited to have join us Majors Marion and Everett Platt. They have joined us from Atlanta. I think they've been here all of about 8 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yes, and we are super excited. Major Marion Platt, he is the CEO, if you will, over all of the facilities in Memphis. And he's very, very strategic oriented, very charismatic, and really looking forward to sharing all that he has with the public. He would be here this morning, but he's all over the place. He really
have
is.
him another time.
Right,
Sure,
he's all over the place. But yeah, we're very, very excited to have him.
That's so incredible.
Yes.
And then the Purdue Center of Hope, I mean, the whole organization's 120 years, but next year, that great building is going to be celebrating 20
years. Right,
and tell everybody where that's located.
We are at 696 Jackson, near downtown.
Yeah.
A beautiful facility that, again, has been there for 20 years. But, in 20 years, even for me, a lot has happened to me in 20 years. So you can imagine what a building has gone through in 20 years. But well over 13,000 residents in that time.
It's just incredible.
Yeah,
I know
it
when we
is.
come back, we're going to dig in a little bit more to the youth development program and
Awesome.
Camp Hope from this summer. So thanks,
Awesome.
Bonita. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
You're listening to Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank and their host, Tracy Strickland. And it's all about Triumph Bank and the great things that they do in our community. Your local community bank, I'd like to share with you their phone number, 901-333-8800. Great website, triumphbank.com. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're thinking about retirement, you've got to know it's all about income. Your money making money. The Retirement Income Doctor wants to teach you how it's done. Give us a call and we'll send you a free animated video kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848, the number 2, income. And tune us in, The Retirement Income Doctor, Saturday mornings at 10. Call now for your free income kit. 848-2-INCOME. 848, the number 2, income.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at controlaltdesign.com.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back. We're live in the studio today. It's Let's Talk Growth with Triumph Bank and our host, Tracy Strickland, our special guest, Bonita Terry-Malone. And what an exciting morning, and welcome back.
Thanks. Well, when we were talking before the break, we were talking about the youth development program. And, you know, like I said, Will, our CEO, has been involved for a number of years. I have obviously, made some donations over the years, but I've never had a chance to visit until almost a year ago, George. And we had the opportunity to come and visit and take a tour of the Purdue Center of Hope. And it is so easy to get to. I come down North Parkway and take a ride. It's right around the corner from St. Jude. Very easy to find. The most welcoming, kind, wonderful staff that will welcome you, get to know you. They know your face. They get to, after you've been a couple of times, they'll know your name. It's just a very personal relationship. You can tell from the moment that you walk in. But as we were discussing the great number of needs that the Salvation Army addresses on a day-to-day basis, they brought up one in particular that struck a chord. That we've worked with schools and we love being able to serve children, but they have a program during the summer that's called Camp Hope.
Right.
And Bonita, I would love for you to talk to us about how long Camp Hope has been around, how it got started.
Sure. I mentioned Roberta Perry,
Yes.
our youth development director, who's been working with children for many, many years. She started Camp Hope. Next year, Camp Hope turns 5.
Awesome.
And she started it because, if you can remember, for several years, there was no summer camp opportunity in the city of Memphis. The school system no longer had that. And so you can imagine for these children, that literally meant they had nowhere to go. And some of them couldn't go to those camps a lot of times for different reasons.
Right.
And so she started a residential camp called Camp Hope. And it is phenomenal, 8-week camp. Different volunteers come in, different groups come in. There's a local AKA, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, that comes in for a week to help out. The kids get to experience cultural activities, educational activities, all those things that every child wants to do during the summer.
Right.
That's what it is. It's hope.
It brings some normalcy.
Exactly.
To their fairly abnormal life.
Exactly,
Right.
but I think I also need to mention that we are still mindful, and Ms. Perry was mindful of the unique need of these children because they're dealing with a lot of trauma.
Right.
And so that is built in. So they're continually being cared for, being nurtured, even through all the fun that they're having. And so yes, Camp Hope is a big deal around there.
It's
And we are so appreciative. I must say this: we're so appreciative of Triumph Bank coming on as a sponsor this past summer. You were awesome in what you provided for the children, for sure. But the couple of days that the staff took out to come and be with them, it was, I'm telling you, it was priceless.
Well, it was pretty transformational for me personally and for the team.
Yes.
You know, we would plan all of these great outdoor activities. And,
Right.
you know, every time you start planning outdoor activities, it's going to start
You can't
storming.
do them.
I know.
Right, right.
So we we got all of these sports balls and stuff. We just ended up realizing who the great athletes were. 'Cause they were
Right.
throwing them across the gym to each other, and we had board games because the kiddos talked about the age range of the kids.
Oh
that are
my
in
goodness!
the camp,
Yeah,
too.
actually, from birth to 17.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah,
So it's like,
literally. Yeah, and it
age-
could be anywhere from 40
yeah.
to 80 of them. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a lot of children.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, we were there for 2 days, George, and so we got to do a lot of different things besides playing games. We got to talk to them and get to know them, and I like to, find out what the kids really love to do and what their strengths were, and a little bit about their personalities. And we were talking about like who likes math and had them
Right.
raise their hand, and who feels like they're kind of organized and raise their hand, or all these different questions. And then each of us at Triumph got to share a little bit about our role at the bank and what we do and how we got there, and mainly just to be able to paint a picture to them of what life can be after they get out of school and can get a job, and maybe a banking job could be something they'd be interested in. And then the next day we came back and did some arts and crafts. We brought these little totes because I'm assuming that they just want to be able to have a bag to put all their own stuff in. So they got
Right.
to paint it and personalize it, and gosh, there's some talented
Very.
kiddos there, and obviously fed them with lots of good food. But it's just, I think that unique quality with all children is they just want to be loved.
Exactly.
They just
Exactly.
want to be able to have somebody look them in the eye and pour love into them,
Right.
and let them know that it's pure. There's nothing that we want back from them. We just want to be able to give them. So I can tell you personally, leaving that second day was like one of the hardest things I've ever done, because I just really fell in love with so many of those kids. But I do have to mention Roberta Perry. If you ever want to go volunteer at the youth development program that they've got at Salvation Army, you have to meet this woman.
Yes,
she
she's
has
something
volunteered
special.
there for like 15 years, and just an incredible saint on this earth. She just knew after she retired that she wanted to go love on babies, and she has been placed in the perfect position.
Yes.
But we also got to come back a few weeks later for the closing program,
Right.
and that was what touched me so much, because a lot of the kids were singing and they were acting and doing so many things. But what I noticed, and I brought my son Andrew with me, but then, because I know whenever I'm coming to see my kids' programs, I'm usually the mama that's like, what, crying if they're out there doing anything. I'm like the, emotional mom. But the most beautiful thing was, and, what I think is a testament of what you do at the Purdue Center of Hope, is the fact that all the moms were there
Right.
watching their kids just like normal, and to be able to know how proud they are of their children and the extreme circumstances.
Right. And because
that they're in.
the Purdue Center of Hope is home.
Right.
It's home.
Yeah.
And so it is normal. A lot of children, we have a great partnership with the school system in the transportation arrangement, to make sure that kids there, we take away the stigma of homelessness and things like that.
Right.
And children will say, I'm going home I'm going home after school. Where you been? I've been to school, but I'm coming home, and things like that. They refer to it as home, and that's what we want. We want them to feel that way.
That's right. I know we have just a couple of minutes left, but I do want to have you touch on upcoming needs that
Sure.
Salvation Army of Memphis and the MidSouth has. Obviously, we've got the Red Kettle season. When does
Yes.
that get started for you?
Oh my goodness! So the kettle kickoff is November 14th, and this year is going to be a really festive, big deal. This is one of the exciting things that Major Platt has brought with him with his leadership style. We're going to be down on Bill Street,
Awesome.
November 14th, around 4:00. From 4 to 6, we'll have the big kickoff, and so a lot of our community partners will join us and just have a really festive time, and give the public an opportunity to just kind of chill before they give.
Right.
Exactly. But
love
I
it.
do want to mention right quick that we are familiar with the kettles, but the kettles are a big deal for our organization financially. It's about 20% of our budget.
Oh my gosh.
Which is amazing.
Wow.
Yes, it's amazing. Those quarters go a long way.
They do.
Yes. But there is a need for volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to, I would forget the website,
Oh, you're good.
but
I bet if you just Google Salvation Army Memphis
go
in the
to
MidSouth, you'll know.
yeah, go to our website, salvationarmymemphis.org,
Okay.
and everything you need would be there. We would like for, groups, civic groups, community groups, churches come together and choose to ring for us this year. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of times they come, they take shifts,
Oh, yeah.
and just make it a festive time.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
It's amazing.
Check us out.
I think that's incredible. There's also the Portraits of Hope that you have in October. So tell us about that real fast.
Yes, that was an awesome idea. A young lady who was Marielle Hicks, who was a former volunteer coordinator. This was her brainchild. But basically, you get to experience the work of the Purdue Center of Hope through photography. It's a very impactful, oversized prints that a photographer has done throughout the year. And we invite our supporters to come out. Just a stewardship opportunity, and wait for us to say thank you, but a visual reminder of the amazing work that goes on there every day. So this year it's October 22nd.
Okay.
And it's at the Polo Club.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be really nice.
Nice.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Those invitations are coming.
Oh, good. We'll be watching for ours. But I think there's something so powerful in just a really great picture, and it can tell, so much about the stories of what happens at the Salvation Army. And, I think that when we think of this organization, there really, truly are so many different ways
Right.
that people can volunteer. And you think about the kettles, I know we won't touch on the angel trees, but I know there's the angel trees throughout different organizations where you can adopt a child, adopt an adult, really take care of all of their holiday purchases. But I think that, if they want to find out more about how they could either mentor a child or tutor a child, who should they reach out to?
They can feel free to call me.
Okay.
You can reach me at 901-260-9105. 260-9105. For the kettles, for volunteering, for anything, just call that number and I'll make sure that you get to what
Bonita's
you
your
need.
one-stop shop.
That's because I forgot the website. Sorry.
Oh, my gosh. No, just call Bonita. You
Yes.
just want to talk. She's a great person. We got to do a little video shoot, and I just know it's just, I don't know. I think it just brings us such joy to be able to serve,
Yes.
and then being able to see our team come together. Camp Hope was just a very special thing for us, and so I would challenge other organizations, other individuals out there, like we've talked about over many weeks. There's so many good organizations that are doing amazing things.
Right.
And you might think, when you look at larger organizations as the Salvation Army, like, oh, they're fine. They've got plenty of money. They've been doing this for a long, long time. Well, you just heard like 20% of their budget comes from the money that we give out of our pockets
Right.
during the holidays and the kettlebells. But there are so many things and so many people that are right here in our city. And when you give to our organization, it's serving the people of Memphis.
Exactly.
And
Definitely.
the amazing things to get them off the streets, to start that healing process to give them hope.
Yes. Yes. And because our programs are long term,
Exactly.
we figured it out.
Yeah.
Time is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Time is powerful. Yes.
That's a perfect statement to end
Yes.
on, Bonita. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank
We're
you.
running out of time.
I know.
We need more time.
We need some more time to chat. I know.
Well,
Thank you,
Bonita, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in
you.
today to talk about Salvation Army and all the great things you guys do. And Tracy, it's always wonderful. You'll be back next Tuesday,
I will.
7:30. You're
7:30
listening
sharp.
to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.